The woman's chest began to itch uncontrollably for no reason, so the doctor asked her to lift her clothes. Yet the man beside her kept staring at her.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Jamie Randall.
Oh. Hi.
Intern.
With just one glance, Jamie fell in love with the woman in front of him, but unfortunately, he was not really an intern doctor, and his true identity was quickly discovered by Maggie. Jamie was beaten with a quick 4-hit combo until he begged for mercy, and seeing his identity exposed, Jamie started apologizing with slick words.
I apologize on behalf of all the arrogant, faceless, cut-off asshole doctors out there who've treated you like a non-person while peeking at your breasts.
The woman was amused by Jamie's sweet talk, but she still took out a camera and snapped a picture. As she left, Maggie even made a playful international hand gesture to bid Jamie farewell. Yet instead of angering Jamie, this unexpected move ignited his competitive spirit. Jamie was already over 30 and still single, and every time he saw a beautiful woman he would take the initiative to flirt.
Hey, Lisa.
Her name's not Lisa.
I know, but if every time I say, hey, Lisa, then eventually she'll come up to me and she'll be like, you know, my name's not Lisa, it's Jennifer, whatever, and I'll do a big apology.
Damn.
He was a sales representative at a pharmaceutical company, greeting doctors and nurses with fiery enthusiasm every day. From dark skin to blue eyes, from elderly ladies to young girls in their prime, all would be charmed by his silver tongue. Even female patients would sometimes fall victim in the hospitals he visited. That day, in order to get familiar with a hospital's details, Jamie decided to start with the attending doctor, so he paid $1,000 in exchange for an intern's identity. However, he ended up encountering a female patient named Maggie. Maggie came to the hospital to check the red rash on her chest, and Jamie, posing as an intern, did not step aside but was instead captivated by her beauty. Maggie was a beautiful 25-year-old young woman, yet she suffered from Parkinson's disease, an illness that usually appeared in the elderly. The boyfriends she once dated all left her after enjoying her beauty. No one was willing to face a young partner with such an illness, not knowing when she might lose her independence. But Maggie never expected that fate would let her meet someone she could entrust her life to. The so-called playboy Jamie she encountered in the hospital. Jamie used his slick tongue to easily get Maggie's phone number from the nurse at the hospital front desk, then shamelessly began his flirting performance.
I'm sorry that I stared at your tits, but they're really nice.
He gave it his all and finally managed to invite Maggie out. They agreed to meet at a cafe, and Jamie was full of anticipation, imagining countless creative ways for their first meeting. But when he saw Maggie's clear eyes, all his fantasies vanished as if he were gazing at the most beautiful star in the world. But Maggie's hands kept trembling because of Parkinson's, and she quickly hid them, while Jamie asked her directly, "Does your hand shake because you're nervous?"
Let's go.
Excuse me?
Oh, you want to close, right? You want to get laid?
Now?
Well, I want the exact same thing.
Maggie's directness stunned Jamie on the spot. Afterward, the two of them began to explore the meaning of life together. From that day on, they fell deeply in love, rushing to meet each other whenever the pager beeped, living every moment in sweet intimacy. But Maggie made a rule from the start: their relationship was only about passion, and they could not involve emotional entanglements. Because she had experienced men leaving her because of her illness, she no longer longed for everlasting love. She only wished to live each day with dignity and grace. Jamie, who was always carefree, didn't mind at all, gladly agreeing and thinking this kind of easy relationship was a great deal. But as time went on, Jamie gradually noticed subtle changes in his heart. When he received Maggie's messages, he felt sudden joy, and no matter where he was, he longed to hear that familiar voice. He knew clearly, this was the feeling of falling in love. However, their relationship did not last long. Maggie's condition became worse, and even something as simple as opening a package of cookies became impossible. She knew very few people in the real world were willing to accept someone like her, especially a man as flirtatious as Jamie. So when Jamie came to her again, Maggie proposed to end the relationship. Jamie could not believe Maggie would say such words, but looking at her firm expression and the sorrow in her eyes, he had no choice but to accept it. Yet he himself could not understand why he could not let go of this love. He had flirted with countless women, but none had ever haunted his heart day and night like Maggie. When longing became unbearable, Jamie would call Maggie, but Maggie would only say a few greetings before hanging up. Maggie also realized that this man actually had a gentle side, as if he had truly fallen for her, and her own words of only passion were nothing more than lies to herself. Parkinson's disease was always her deepest fear, and she lacked the courage to accept love again, believing this romance was nothing but a cruel game of fate. But Jamie did not know. Maggie was secretly planning to leave to forget someone. One must first leave the city where he lives. Maggie decided to take a bus and begin a lonely journey, but just as she was about to board, Jamie came rushing to the station.
Okay, when do you get back?
Never. Tomorrow night, late.
How late?
Just forget about it, okay? Please. I'm begging you.
Watching Maggie's figure fade into the distance, Jamie felt a wave of unbearable loss. In the past, he would have turned away without hesitation, but this time, an unfamiliar reluctance burned inside him, and the casual return time Maggie mentioned became Jamie's reason to wait. Every evening after work, Jamie drove to the station, night after night, his car parked stubbornly outside, and when the lights were turned off, only he remained in the dark counting the hours, waiting for that familiar figure, until one morning, Maggie's bus finally returned to Jamie's patient vigil, dragging her tired body. Maggie stepped off the bus and was stunned to see Jamie had been waiting for her all along. The morning chill was melted by Jamie's burning affection, and in silence, the distance between them disappeared, as fate once again tied their hearts together.
This is what this is, whatever this is.
Are you done?
At that moment, Maggie finally opened the long-locked door of her heart, willing to give this man another chance, and more importantly, to give herself another chance. Perhaps love truly is the medicine that heals all wounds. As their love grew sweeter, Jamie's career also soared. His sales broke records never seen in the company, turning their medicine into a bestseller. They even drove a better car, basking in the sunlight and drowning in the happiness woven by love. And Maggie cherished every moment with Jamie, but whenever Jamie talked on the phone with his family, he always exaggerated his success, and when Maggie asked, he could only avoid her questioning eyes. It was only then that Jamie finally told Maggie about his past. He was born into a family of doctors. His father taught at a medical school. His mother and sister were both doctors, and even his younger brother had a high-paying job. Only Jamie had dropped out of high school and mixed in the ordinary world of home appliance sales. His outstanding looks came from good genes, while years of dealing with people had sharpened his persuasive tongue. But such talent became a double-edged sword in love, making him a notorious playboy and even costing him his sales job. Afterward, he turned to the pharmaceutical industry and became a drug salesman. Until he met Maggie, he finally found meaning in life, gaining the determination to work hard for his career, wanting his family to see his growth and transformation. Although Jamie thought he was worthless, in Maggie's eyes, he was already perfect. Yet fate is often cruel, always playing tricks just when everything seems to be going well. Maggie's illness worsened, and even holding scissors made her hands tremble. She tried to control her emotions, but the suffering of the disease pushed her closer and closer to breaking down. Worse still, at this time, she also ran out of medicine. That night, when Jamie returned home, Maggie lifted her glass of wine and drank deeply, then asked him, "What exactly do you like about me?"
Tell me, Randall, what exactly is it about me that's so desirable? There's gonna be 600 girls dying to blow you at this convention.
Hearing those harsh words, Jamie knew it was Maggie's worsening illness that made her emotional, but he was still deeply hurt inside, so he chose to leave. But as he left, Maggie dropped the glass she could no longer hold, shattering it on the ground. At that moment, her emotions also shattered completely with the glass, and tears and cries of despair poured out, not because she hated Jamie, but because she hated herself for being sick. She hated herself for being forced to live like this, unable to live normally, unable to face love with ease. At that moment, Jamie turned back and held her tightly in his arms. Although he said nothing, he knew that right now he was the one Maggie needed the most. In that instant, he truly felt the struggle and despair hidden deep inside Maggie's heart, and he silently swore to himself, no matter what, he would never let her face the illness of the future alone. On this turbulent night, their hearts unexpectedly grew closer. After that, Jamie took Maggie to a large Parkinson support meeting. There were many patients like Maggie, each with different symptoms: trembling hands, slow steps, or slurred speech, yet they all still faced life with strength, speaking about their lives with optimism. However, whether on stage or in the audience, almost all of them were already elderly patients. Still, they all faced life with courage, which made Maggie realize she should do the same. She regained confidence, deciding not only to take responsibility for her own life, but also for her love. But on the other side, Janie felt something entirely different. A family member of one patient told him, "Maybe you can hold on for now, but when your partner truly cannot take care of herself, that will be the real test. You will have to feed her, bathe her, and clean up after her, while she just lies in bed like a lifeless body." Hearing this, Janie fell into deep thought. After the meeting ended, Maggie excitedly told Jamie that she would never lose her temper again, and she would face life with sunshine and strength.
I've been such a bitch to you.
Oh.
And you didn't even run away. How's that possible? It's like, this is like the first time in my life that I've ever not felt alone. I love you. I love you.
Maggie's sudden confession gave Jamie new strength, yet he could not smile. He was afraid the day described by that family member would truly arrive. That night, after Maggie fell asleep, Janie quietly searched for information about Parkinson's disease. The next day, he even asked a friend to help him get the contact details of top specialists in the field, and he immediately accompanied Maggie to seek medical treatment. They set out with the first light of dawn, resting when night fell, undergoing countless medical examinations along the way, and also attending every medical seminar, unwilling to miss any news that might bring hope. However, when they flew more than 2,000 kilometers to their destination, the nurse told them the appointment had been postponed for 2 weeks. This series of setbacks shattered Jamie's optimism, and he began to grow anxious and irritable. Maggie noticed his change, and she knew if they continued chasing treatment like this, the illness might not be driven away, but it could drag Jamie into despair instead. What's more, this was Jamie's peak career period, and he could seize this chance to gain freedom and even wealth. And by then he could easily find a younger, prettier girlfriend, so there was no need to waste his life on someone ordinary like her. Not wanting to hold Jamie back any longer, Maggie rationally chose to let go.
Desperately. It's not gonna happen. Apparently you need to know that I'll get better in order to love me.
Although Jamie did not agree with Maggie's words, deep inside he knew that worry was real. After an argument, Maggie asked to break up, and Jamie did not insist. This love that had begun with blazing passion eventually lost its way in the cold wind and snow. Afterward, Jamie lived each day in a daze, unable to find interest in anything. It was not until he was promoted and prepared to move to another city that life began to stir again. At the promotion celebration, he met Maggie once more, but this time another man stood beside her. He wanted to ask Maggie if she was doing well, but the words would not come out. Maggie heard he was moving to another city and smiled, blessing him with success. Jamie did not know what to do, and all the countless words he had carried day and night turned into just a pale greeting. But even so, the passion in his heart once again made Maggie sink into feelings for him. Their brief encounter came to an end. In the snowy winter, Maggie stared blankly at old photos, while Jamie, preparing to leave, found a camera while packing it held the memories of their sweet love. Every detail vivid, the past came flooding back like waves. They had once planned how many children to have, where they wanted to settle for the rest of their lives. Each frozen moment was like amber carved by time, preserving love and hope forever. This struck Jamie deeply, and at that moment, he admitted he regretted everything, realizing he truly did not want to let go. He knew if he missed this chance, it would be gone forever, so he rushed to find Maggie, only to be told she had just moved to Canada. Jamie drove after her, honking wildly on the highway.
Hey! Maggie! It's a strange Hey! Need to talk! Easy bone.
In the end, Jamie forced the bus to stop. He told Maggie, "It's because I met you that my life became full, no longer empty, filled with the strength to grow forward. You are the medicine of my life." But Maggie did not believe it, always feeling her illness would only burden Jamie.
I'm gonna need you more than you need me.
That's okay.
No, it's not. I have places to go.
You'll go there. I just may have to carry you.
I can't ask you to do that.
You didn't.
Janie then told Maggie, "Let us be each other's medicine." At that moment, Maggie could no longer refuse his love. Just like the line in the film, you meet thousands of people every day, yet not one can truly touch your heart until you meet the right person, and your life is changed forever. In love, what we need is not only the passion of today, but also the courage to face tomorrow. When you meet the one you truly love, you must face hardships together, walk through life side by side, and let love itself become the healing power for both. Because true love is like a journey of two hearts running toward each other, not just a collision of passion in the moment, but the choice to walk hand in hand through every storm ahead. When we meet the one who connects with our soul, that first spark is only the beginning. In the long years ahead, through career ups and downs, family responsibilities, and the small troubles of daily life, whether we can always hold each other tightly will be the ultimate test of this love. In this complicated world, let us all hold this fearless courage to embrace the one we love, turning every setback into nourishment for love, and every hardship into a chance to stand even closer together. Only then can love truly become the medicine that heals the soul, shielding us from life's storms, allowing two people in love to nourish each other through time, writing together a timeless and radiant love song